the CLS show. I'm Marty Gallagher here with the 93 of Brad Peterson, driver out of Lake Elmo. Obviously the Titan Exteriors 93 and the traditional sprints. Fun night here. We're going to talk a lot about racing, a little bit about your background, a little bit like what you love to do outside of the race car. Saturday night, Cedar Lake Speedway traditional sprint. You always do a wonderful job. Put a hell of a show on for the fans. What's one of the things that you really love about Cedar Lake Speedway?
Well, there's so much to love about Cedar Lake Speedway. It's my favorite track. It's one of the fastest tracks. It's got a high bank, and the family and the people from Cedar Lake, the people that go there, there's a lot to the track that we like. You know, so we live there on the weekend. Kids race go-karts, quarter midgets. We run Saturday night, but we're actually there all weekend long. So, and we live right down the street, so it's pretty nice. We've got that, advantage.
Like you said there, obviously, because Cedar Lake Arena, you got the go-kart track, which is about, maybe 200 yards away from the actual racetrack on the back stretch?
Yeah. So probably the coolest place that you could go racing and have kids involved and kind of get these youngsters involved to the level where they can take over our cars when we decide to call it, a career or whatever.
So you're running the 93 traditional sprint car and the Upper Midwest Sprint Series would be the sanctioning body. How many years have you ran that car?
I think this will be number 5. So what is it? So 17, I got my feet wet a little bit. Or 16, we started a little bit, and then 17, 18, 19. I can't believe how fast time has flown. And now we're, one of the, more experienced teams in this big class of sprint cars that's grown to what it has at Cedar Lake Speedway.
And obviously, this is being the CLS show. We like to talk about Cedar Lake Speedway, but your class, you don't just run at Cedar Lake Speedway. You're there most every Saturday or most traditional sprint shows, but there's other races that you run throughout the Midwest.
So yeah, the Upper Midwest Sprint Car Series runs all over the, Minnesota, Wisconsin. They go as far down as Jackson, Minnesota. That's a real fun track. Had a blast down there. Look forward to going there. There's other tracks that they're going to run us at. We go up to Princeton and Superior. We've been to Hibbing. Went up there, and Harry Hansen and his sponsors had an event, a 2-day show or whatever, and we cleaned house and won both features. And just the look in their face, they're like, "You took all our money." That was the first time in my life I put money back in the race account. I actually got home and had money to put back in the bank, and I was like, "This has never happened before." So, and the kids were like, "This is great. We go out of town, we go to a hotel, we go swimming, we win races, and we make money." I go, This isn't how it usually goes. I go, "This is the most rarest thing that's ever happened," And yeah, it was a great time, and we look forward to it racing wherever we do, and we can make that happen.
So backing up, so you said about 2017, 2018, you got the traditional sprint. What was your racing background like? Where did Cedar Lake Speedway come into your life? Were you a kid in the stands? Or was it just high school and your buddies brought you to the track, or grew up with family around it?
So I started in quarter midgets quite a long time ago, and that progressed, and I won the 1978 Quarter Midget Grand Nationals in Toledo, Ohio.
They had quarter midgets back then.
They had quarter midgets, and I didn't know anyone else that ran them. Now everyone we know in racing is involved around quarter midgets. The go-karting, I never even knew about go-karts or anything at the level that we're in right now, but that's where we started, was quarter midgets out at Elko. Our first hauler was like a 77 or 79 Lincoln Town car pulling a snowmobile trailer to the track with three quarter midgets. So we did fairly well, had track records that stood for a long time, met great people that I still know today, and have like a relationship with people that I met when we were little kids, and now they're grown up and they've got kids in quarter midgets. And we look forward to seeing each other all the time, and they make their way over to the big track after quarter midget racing Saturday morning, sprint car racing Saturday night, and then we do go-karts on Sunday at the arena. So like I say, we live there, we live there, and so it's a great life to live, and we look forward to it. We work hard all week so we can race hard all weekend.
So obviously the race season, most of the time in the winter time, you're probably not racing. What's some of the hobbies? You hockey, basketball, skiing?
Yeah, boot hockey. We have a bar league boot hockey team that Titan Exteriors we sponsor, and we try to compete with these youngsters and try not to lose any teeth or get in any trouble. And then skiing and then hockey with the kids. So it's busy. I'm actually coaching mites hockey, Somerset Spartan mites hockey. So it's a pretty busy winter. So we're always running.
Obviously, you mentioned Titan Exteriors. So many other great sponsors that help you get to the track.
Oh God, we brought a sample of some Hagberg's quality beef sticks here tonight. I've got Weeks and Sign have done our graphics for years. She actually did graphics on hand painted graphics, and then worked our way into doing the graphics on our car. I've got besides Hagberg's, I've got good God, I can't think straight. Yeah, we have our Napa sponsor on the car.
Yeah.
Napa takes care of us. I've got Fiesta Cancun. Great
I've heard
place.
of that place.
Yeah, they are
Sounds like
great food, great people, very generous to the community. I'm not sure they even knew what a sprint car was, and then we showed them what we were going to do for them, and it made things pretty awesome. We have St. Croix Marine and Power on the car. They're good friends from the neighborhood. I got Woodbury Dental Arts. They're pretty decent deal. They help us with the family, the dental, and I've had my teeth fixed there, and I go there on a regular stuff. And we've I wish I could see the other side of my car. I'm like thinking of all the sponsors on there.
Obviously, needless to say,
yeah.
I mean, you have, and I've seen your car numerous times at Cedar Lake Speedway. You
Yeah.
have tremendous support that gets you to the track, and that's got to be just wonderful. The background support,
Yeah.
It's great. I mean,
And one of our best, and our closest relationship with Matt Bowl and Liquid Nitro. I'll tell you, if you guys drink it or tried it, it's a great energy drink. I actually drink the energy shooters.
Nice.
You get tired in the afternoon, we're working all day, and you're like, man, I'm getting tired. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to work on the car when I get home. And they're, a caffeinated beverage, and it helps you keep on your toes and keep your brain focused.
Speaking of working all day, what's your Monday through Friday look like, besides working on the race car?
Roofing, siding, windows, soffit, fascia, Titan Exteriors will come out and look at your roof. Actually, we're at Dan Plan's house right now, and I said, hey, you want me to take a look at that roof? Last year we had some pretty big storms, so I said, you know what? I'm coming out there, I got the ladder, I'm going to look at that roof and let you know if you've got any issues up there, and he's going to make a call. We're going to see what we can do for him and see if we can put a new roof on his house and take care of him so it doesn't cost him a fortune, and put a new roof that he'll never have to worry about again, lifetime warranty stuff. We're good at what we do. Me and my partner are, we're involved with sponsoring go-karts and other racers and stuff, so that's kind of cool to see our name on other cars.
Yeah.
And now we've got our name at the track. Worked out a deal with Brad, and we actually can see our sign down there now, and it's pretty cool. We got a booth this year to watch from, so family can come and sit in the booth and enjoy the racing and maybe stay out of the way of the pits if they don't want to do that. But we always encourage friends and family and sponsors to come hang out right in the pits and check out what we're doing. We bring a grill. Obviously, Hagberg's hooks us up with all kinds of meat. The Rendezvous Bar in Somerset gives us our beer. They give me a case of beer on Friday night, and they're like, a case of beer, Brad? How does that help you go racing? I said, well, anytime I don't have to spend 20, 30 bucks on anything, it actually goes into the pot. So 25 times on the weekend. Same with the burgers and brats and dogs. And then, my cash sponsors, Low Boys Excavating helps us out with a set of tires. We got Spartan Quick Loop Service right in Somerset. They've been new to our organization. They sponsor all the cars. And it definitely helps us do what we do and do it as well as we can, because God knows the competition. These guys are tough, and they ain't out there to let you have a position. They're fight you for every inch of it. So you got to be on your toes. You got to be on your game. Your car's got to run. You can't be running on 6 cylinders out there. It's not going to do you very well, and you got to have good backing. And I have a great crew chief and friends that help out. Without them, I'd probably be fishing or floating down the Alpha River and then spectating at Cedar Lake, which we do on weekends that we don't run sprint cars.
Before you hopped in that traditional sprint, and you run a winged sprint car at times too, so I just don't want to call it a traditional sprint. I know there's different divisionals and different, sometimes it's the Upper Midwest Sprint Series traditionals, but then there's Upper Midwest Series, traditional wing sprints. What would be the technical term on that?
Yeah, that's the UMSS wing car, which is a underpowered class from the 360 and the 410. So it's a 305 motor right now, and that's rules are changing all the time. They've got different ideas on what's going to work, what's not going to work. So it's a 305 class, real fast, real competitive. Lots of new people in that class too. So actually, my first race, put a wing on the car, and it was green flag going into turn one. I told the guy sitting on the bottom, or on the pole, he said to me, he goes, "Hey, have you ever done this before?" And I said, "Well, not with a wing, but I understand the concept, you know, we're going green flag." And he goes, "Hey, do me a favor, would you? There's some hot cars in this heat race. Would you do me a favor and hold them off for me so I can get out front and go out and win this thing?" And I said, "Yeah, fair enough." I said, "But hey, I'm telling you, if my car's running good, and I get you at turn one, you do the same and hold them off for me." And son of a gun, I got down to turn one, I looked, Bob wasn't there, and I turned the car down, and that thing just squatted down. I didn't have to lift. In fact, they said, "Don't lift. Hold the throttle wide open and turn the car, don't lift." And I was like, that's got to be insane, because in a traditional, you got to set the car, you got to get off the gas, you got to drive it, you know, differently. And I couldn't believe the speed difference and the way that car went through the corner. And I came off the corner, and I looked down a couple times, and then I just tried to hit my lines. Sure enough, there came the white flag, there came the left, or the checkered flag. I couldn't believe I won my first heat race at that speed. And I think we were turning like 13.5s or 13.9s around that Cedar Lake track. And I was like, that was the fastest thing I've ever driven on dirt. That was the most intense thing, because it was Roll to Outlaw night, and there was 10,000 people there or something. There was a lot of people in the stands.
It's packed on the Cedar Lake.
Yeah, and that was a great experience. And I went on to finish in the top 5 that first feature. So it was a pretty fun deal. But this will be interesting this year to try to run both cars. Will I come out and run the traditional? Yes. Will I run the wing some nights the same night? Yes. But then there'll be weekends where I'll just run one or the other. Sometimes we're split up, so Cedar Lake will always be our home track, no matter what. I don't care where. But there'll be races where the wings will race somewhere else, and we'll be running at Cedar Lake. Or the wings will be at Cedar Lake, the traditionals will be somewhere else. We'll stay close to home and run there. So
Cedar Lake Speedway, obviously we all know, has great food. When you make your way up to the backstretch food area, what do you usually grab yourself? I know you have your sponsors that help you barbecue in the pits, but...
So there's times where we don't bring the grill once in a while, and we go up and eat. So we'll go up and get cheeseburgers, chicken wings. I mean, their food is good. They got cold beer there and stuff. So after the races, no matter what, even if we've got sponsored beer, free beer in the hauler, we'll go up and spend money and support, you know, what we do at the track, and buy some cold ones for everybody. And hopefully we'll be there this year in Victory Lane maybe again. So looking forward to that.
Looking at the race season, obviously we talked about you running maybe some of the traditional, some of the wing sprint car. How's your cars looking at this point in time? I mean, technically we're supposed to start racing here within the next week. We see all the snow and rain in the forecast. Hopefully within maybe 2 or 3 weeks we'll be at the track, the legendary Cedar Lake Speedway. Where your car's sitting at this moment in time?
Yeah, we're ready to go racing with the traditional car. Our wing car needs graphics and a few other things, but it'll be close to time the snow melts, the track opens up, and but we'll definitely start off with the traditional, see how that goes, and look forward to the 2023 season. Great group of racers, all have great respect for each other. They're all fast. Our times were all within, tenth of 100. I mean, the times are that close. There's no, the top 10 cars, any one of them could win at any time. Some of them got it figured out a little bit better than the others. Some of them have, things they've done and experienced that they have the knowledge. They'll read the track. I try to do the same thing, read the track, figure out the gearing, try to figure out what to do to the car. Sprint cars are pretty easy to work on. A lot of people say, hey, that's great, Brad, you're running sprint cars. When are you going to go back to the modified? We remember you when you ran modifieds, and back when I ran mods, it was one modified class, one late model class, a super stock class, and there was some heavy hitters out there, and that's back in the day when it was, if you mess with these guys, they're coming at you in the pits, and you had to defend yourself. So it was best not to mess with some of these guys that are, back in the day. So, I'd love to run a modified, but I don't have the knowledge, or the information to come out, like I would need to be competitive. It would take a little bit. It'd be a learning process, and they are a little bit more work to keep competitive week in and week out than a sprint car. Sprint cars are about the easiest car to work on. It's a great class to get into, but they are dangerous. They are the most dangerous cars. When guys get wrecked or get hit, you feel it in the body more than you do a stock car. There's less energy to be absorbed. So I took a tumble a couple years ago, and it felt like I went head on into a wall, and it just, the safety equipment we used saved my life. I was like, hey, I was okay. I was a little sore, but it wasn't like I was thinking was going to happen. Once I started seeing, the ground and the sky, they talk about it, and I experienced it, and I was like, holy shit. And then the car was junk. Everything on it was trash. So you just move that one to the side, and then you start over with another one, and then you dig out some parts and get some brand new stuff out there and rebuild your car. So,
like you're saying, obviously that sounds like probably one of your worst nights at the track.
Yeah.
That traditional sprint class the competition is amazing. You got 3, 4 wide going through 1 and 2, 3 wide down the backstretch. I mean, it's non-stop. It's like watching Talladega on dirt.
Yeah.
In the competition, like you're saying, very, very close. What's one of the funnest races you've been a part of? Even if you didn't win it, what was one race that
it'd be one of them that I won. So now I've won eight features there. Put myself on the all-time win list in fourth by myself. I was tied with Rick Cobes and Ryan Bowers, 3-way tie for fourth on the all-time win list. The next guy's 20, 30 races ahead. I'll never, in my time, but battling, outrunning Ryan Bowers, starting on front row and outrunning Jimmy Kuba back, when I first started. These were guys where people are like, well, where were the Kubas that night? I'm like, right on my bumper. I go, where do you think they were? And I was hanging on for dear life and trying to hit my marks and do what I felt I needed to do, move up the track, run the cushion a little bit, go down and protect the line. You got Cam Schaefer coming out of nowhere, throwing a slide job from way out and smoking his tire, and I was able to cut down underneath him and race him down to the next corner, and I went to the bottom, and I was like, okay, it's going to be slower around there, but I figured Cam's going to be faster on the top, but it's going to take him more than a turn to get me. It's going to take him a lap, and then he's going to get me on the top. I only got one more turn, and I better protect the bottom from a slide job.
Yeah.
Went down there, and I never saw him out of the right side, but he was a car length away from taking that win away from me. And yeah, I even talked to him after, and he's like, oh, you dummy. And he knew he could pilot in there and rip around the top and get me. And it was close, but it was a pretty good win. We had all the Titan guys there, and all the family loved the racing. They get a little nervous with the sprint car because they are dangerous, but like I said, we race against a good group of guys. We've got a lot of new people learning in that class. You got to be able to give and take a little bit and move around on the track and be prepared and keep focused on what's going on ahead of you when you catch those slower cars. But that gets to be the most intense part of it. You can see the lappers, and just the end of the year, I think it was Duranko was trying to make moves through traffic, and he got a little contact, and it looked like that car got out of shape, and I'm going, holy shit, what's going to happen here? Who's going to go which direction? We finished second, Duranko won it, and there was a handful of cars around there that were lap cars. They're new people that are to the sport getting their feet wet, and it's a fast class. You really are moving.
Obviously, like you said, fast class. So what do you prefer? Like, obviously, you got 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. We got 2 different sides of the track that are different banking, different shaping. Do you like to run on the bottom, top? Does it change? Obviously, some nights it's a heavy track, sometimes it's dusty. I mean, what's your favorite type of track that you got? Do you like to run?
I like a heavy track where the cushion's right up on the wall, so there's not 6 feet of fluffy, wet dirt, so it's right there at the wall. So now you have that option to run it with no room for error. So you really got to hit your marks. I feel like I have a car set up good enough that makes it so drivable that I can drive it as hard as I can, possibly imagine driving that car, and getting the performance with the suspension and the hookup. TCB Speed, Rob Cahill, helps me set my car up and has given me information that I went out there and drove my car after I was setting it up the way I was, and the difference was the drivability of the car, and I was able to go out and win a race after Rob got us turned around and got my car squared up, set up, and this guy's got a lot of feature wins, and he's a long time, and he's helped everybody. He goes out of his way to help people. You can call him up anytime. He'll take the time to talk to you, and he's, without him, we struggled. And with TCB Speed, they're located in Minnesota. You could say, hey, I want to get into sprint cars. You call Rob up. He'll say, what's your budget? He'll get you hooked up and get you a car that you can go out there and be competitive with. So it made a big difference. And then, I was lucky I was able to beat him a couple times. And he was a good sport about it. So he was like, giving me the congrats and, told me I was lucky that weekend. And I know I was, but I, outran some of the best. So, yeah.
What, obviously, you said hockey, you're coach with the hockey. What's the funnest thing about that? Did you guys have a good season? Was it just a bunch of teaching, learning? I mean, it sounds like they're sports, right? So
they're mites, so there's a lot of yelling, but not yelling at them. So, you can't yell at the kid. You gotta yell, get on sides, or let's see some back checking and get back on the puck, or they'll lose the puck and let the kid skate off and score. And your goalie's got no experience, so he's trying to stop a puck coming at him. And yeah, mites. Hockey, there was 70 learn to skate kids out on the ice, and you're out there basically trying not to run one of them over. You got the mom and dads watching, so you're like, you don't want to clip a kid or whatever, but they do play a tag game where you got to tag the kid and then he's got to go sit off to the side or whatever. It's pretty fun, and you just barely touch them and they'll go flying and stuff. But it's a commitment. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, and to see these kids get better and better. I can't wait for every year now, because we're going to the next level, and we're in this AAA league for the summertime, and we're going into the spring, and that should be pretty interesting to see these kids continue to play hockey. I don't know where we're going to fit that in the schedule, because he runs a junior R-box wing car, and the older one runs an intermediate wing car at the arena, so we're going to be busy, and we got motors and stuff to get ready and cars to put together for that. That's a Voodoo Chassis out of Somerset. Shane Vibrock owns and runs that operation. Without him, we wouldn't be as competitive as we are, and we took his chassis and went out and beat the best of the best. And I mean, there are some serious competitors in go-karting, and you got to be, everything on that cart's got to be perfect. I thought, what? This is fun. Let's get the kids into go-karting. It's a lot more than you think. You really got to know what you're doing, and you got to have people that can help you with that to make that happen, so your kid isn't getting his butt kicked every weekend and stuff. But that's a lot of fun. People go, I don't know where you find the time. Well, we make it happen. I make it happen. We do roofing and siding during the week. On the weekends, I get the jobs going. I'll come out and look at your roof, and we'll set it up for an adjuster meeting. I'll get a call back, I'll come out and see you, and we'll see what we can do to get that covered. I might not see you again for another month until your things work out with your insurance company, but then we'll come back, put your roof on, and I've got 4 or 5 going during the week. I just don't schedule them, try not to schedule them on Friday. They can run themselves, but basically got to be around to make sure that goes smooth. That's where the income comes in, and I love my job, I love what I do, helping people out, helping them work with their insurance companies and stuff. And then setting my own time so I can go home and get the car loaded up, call the crew chief and have him come and help when he can during the week to load up. Or I'll got, my mom's 80 years old and she rides a 4-wheeler, and I'll say, Mom, we gotta load this race car, and she'll get on that 4-wheeler and push it in the car. I get a little nervous, but she's a big race fan. So her dad raced, my grandpa raced in 1929 in a Offenhauser open wheel sprint car that I'd say more of them died doing that than they did surviving, because it was so dangerous back then. But it's kind of where the roots came from, and my dad helping me get involved with the quarter midgets. And then one day we went to the racetrack, and he goes, yep, this is the class. And it was a modified class. And I'm like, what, this class? I go, there was 20 cars, there's 7 left. I go, that looks like a lot of work and a lot of money. I don't know where they, how much these things cost, but I go, he goes, well, that's the class we're going to get into. Next thing I know, we went and bought a modified down in Lansing, Minnesota, from one of Mark Noble's relatives, and it was an older pro chassis, and got our feet wet and got some wins in that. So that was pretty fun to learn how to, be competitive in an open wheels car. And I always wanted to go sprint car racing, and then lost my dad to cancer, and that was it. The fun was over. I couldn't afford it on my own, and it wasn't the same without my dad. And he was the greatest thing in the world. He was very smart, and he threw a bunch of money at it, and we bought good equipment and figured out how to do it and do it competitively. And then I got out of it for many years, did motocross, and then I realized I was too damn old, and I was out at the arena riding motocross, and I bounced my head off the crossbar and I jammed my elbow, and there's a sprint car sitting in the corner and it says kick ass on it, or kick ass beef jerky or something, and I'm walking around, my dirt bike's over here, I looked around, nobody was around, so I crawled in this sprint car, got in there, never sat in one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to feel like what it was like, so I crawled in there, got in there, and I'm holding the wheel and I'm looking around, I'm like, God dang, this seems like this is safer than this dirt bike, you know?
Yeah.
Little did I know, I mean, you know, they're not really, but, and a few months later, I went to the bar and my buddy was there, and my crew chief now, who was hanging out, I told them what I wanted to do, and they're like, hey, you know what, that sounds like fun, I got a trailer. He's like, hey, I know a little thing or two about, you know, mechanics and putting motors together, and sure enough, we went and got a sprint car and started sprint car racing, so.
That's great.
Yeah, pretty fun.
You're saying growing up, so have you always been like East Metro, like high school, stuff like that? Or did you guys
Yep,
move
Lake
around?
Elmo, Stillwater,
Perfect.
hometown.
And that's what, so you said your grandpa, what did the tracks do you think you raced?
So
At the
he
state
raced
fair?
at the state fair. He raced out at in Pennsylvania. They raced all over the place. And back then, the money they got paid, they did it and made a living at it. It was unbelievable. But they were hauling their stuff across the country in vehicles that you or I would look at and not even want to get behind the wheel and drive down to, you know, to the
The
grocery
gas
store.
station.
And yeah, they hauled their stuff across the town, and they, you know, it was just crazy, you know, to.
Did your dad race then?
So he raced a little bit, but then, you know, we came along and he just felt like, you know, I got kids now, I can't be doing this, you know, and, you know, spending the money that we need to raise a family. So he
Yeah.
sacrificed what he wanted to do to put us in go-karts, quarter midgets, and then stock car racing and stuff, so.
And like you saying, quarter midgets, Uncle Speedway.
Yep.
So like
On
with
asphalt.
your kids, yep. Did you have to make a decision? I mean, obviously it's easy for you because you're already at Cedar Lake Speedway.
Yeah.
But did you say, hey, maybe we should do Oakland Speedway, Little Oakland Speedway?
No,
Or-
that's an hour in the wrong direction. Cedar Lake's 9 minutes away,
Yeah.
so it was
It's pretty easy.
dirt track racing. That's our life. That's what we love to do. The kids got good background, and they're, you know, we're in go-karts now, so no
Yeah.
quarter midgets. Same track, bigger track,
That's right.
different style, and then we can run those Wednesdays and Thursdays. There's different tracks. Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sundays. They race them all over the place. We won't be racing Saturday night when I'm running the sprint car, but we will run occasionally weekends that traditionals don't run in the middle of the summer. We have a little bit of time off, so we'll be doing some of that.
Yeah. What's looking at? Did you guys get to do anything fun this winter? Obviously, you're working on stuff. You got the hockey stuff. Do you guys try to get out of the snow and the ice?
Yep, we go down to see Mom in Florida. So Mom's living in Florida from before the snow flies until after the snow's gone. So she's down in Cape Coral, Florida. We drove down during COVID stuff, but this last 2 years we flew down and went down there and hung out at Fort Myers Beach. It's our favorite place to go. The kids love it, and they wanted to go twice this year, and that wasn't in the books. So busy with work, so spring break was just skating, hockey, hanging out at the house, and
Obviously, like you say, family. Family is very important to be able to do everything that you do. What's do you have? How many kids? And married? Not married?
Have a girlfriend. We have 8-year-old and a 16-year-old. That's my stepsons. So we got them in the race, and actually, the one of them said, "Hey, I want to get a quarter midget." I go, "What did you say? Quarter midget? I know a few people that know a few things about that." And so we got into it, and it just took off from there.
Awesome. And what's obviously 16, so maybe hop in a sprint car.
He's excited and nervous at the same time. I think he's going to be one of the great racers because he is smooth. He's fast. He listens to advice well. I give as much advice as I can give to a kid. That listen, this is what I think is going to work. This is what I would do. Try it. We're out here to have fun. Let's go out and race and have a good time. And you know, most important thing is to have fun doing this. You know, if it's not fun, and it can be a job, it can be overwhelming to be involved with racing, as everybody knows. And you know what? We still love it, and we're probably going to do this for many years to come. Hopefully, everything stays together with the US of A, because there's a lot of shit going on that we don't know about, and the unknown. But as far as
it probably helps that Cedar Lake Speedway is located in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, when we were racing there, people were calling me up, going, "Hey, what's the COVID situation over in Wisconsin?" I go, "Well, apparently it stops at the border because it don't exist. We're drinking beer, we're hanging out, we're shooting fireworks off, we're riding 4-wheelers. Nobody's got masks on. guys, come on over, you know. And so we were having a lot of people. We had sometimes 14 to 21, even 25 people in the pits.
Yeah.
In our pits every single weekend, you know, grilling out, hanging out, having fun. And we've introduced a lot of people back to Cedar Lake Speedway that had been away from that track for 20 some years. And we're like, you know, we love coming out here. We love watching what you do and being part of it as much as we can. Meeting new people and hanging out. Just a great group of people. It's a family thing more so than it's ever been, you know. Back when I ran modifieds, you know, we were there, we were competitive, but we, you know, races were over, we hung out a little bit, we got out of there, but now we stay at the track and hang out and just enjoy the time together and having fun, and just got a great group of people that we love to hang out with and enjoy, you know, together at Cedar Lake Speedway. So
you guys camp there much? Like, or do you guys?
We're so close, but we do camp. We bring the camper up, and then we're able to stay right at the track.
Because it's the camping there is unbelievable.
The people at the track are so accommodating. They just take care of everybody. They just love to have you up there and bring your campers and your golf carts and your four-wheelers and bring your grills. It's, you know, it's fun. We got more people coming this year again that said, hey, we're coming out there this year. This looks like fun. We want to be a part of it. One of the biggest things for us is this social media thing. People are like, we love to follow what you guys do. We love to catch up with the races. We love to see what's going on. We love to see your what happens at the track and how you finished. And when you don't post something, they're like, we got to find out from someone else. Maybe you had a bad night, or we're all late and you didn't get a chance to post something. So
I didn't have cell service. I finished dead last.
Yeah, well, yeah. Ted, get rid of that video. That was bad night, you know. And,
That's a bad night.
but
no, usually, it's great with social media. That's you said. It's such a huge part of our sport now that 10 years ago was not part of it at all.
Yeah.
5 years ago, you had some people trickling into it, but it's great for your sponsors, friends, family.
Advertisement on this Facebook and the social media stuff. I mean, people are like, hey, we see what's going on. We'd like to put our name on the card.
Yeah.
See, you generate a lot of interest with that. You got a lot of good energy. Surround yourself with a lot of good people. That seems to be a positive. Not that there's a lot of negative people out there, but where we are at, it's a lot of positive people and a lot of, you know, people that like the same kind of thing, you know, and hanging out and having fun. Even if we don't do good, I try to make it seem like I had a good time. I do have a good time no matter what, but I don't try to act like, you know, hey, it's not the end of the world. We got fifth tonight. It's not the worst, you know.
Yeah.
And and then being asked to be a part of this, the first one. I've never done anything like this, and I'm going to do it the 93rd, what do you call it, podcast edition for the RTS guys. So that's going to be pretty exciting to be on that for the 93, but to be here for the first one with Scott Splitstozer. I know he's here. Yeah, he's here, and he's a longtime friend. He's a longtime friend.
Wine and hanging out in the green room right now.
When we go to when we park my car, we go up to the track as fast as we can to watch the modifieds and see where Scott's at. And, you know, generally he's at the front and he's got his hands full and he's battling with some pretty heavy competition. So it's pretty. It's just a blast to watch that and be part of that. But to be asked to do this from Dan Plan, he videotaped one of my feature wins, or a couple of them, and take some good pictures and stuff. So it's pretty cool to look back and see that kind of thing. So I'm honored to be here and to do this for Cedar Lake Speedway. Look at these great sponsors. You can see, I mean, every single one of these companies we're also involved with at some level, with the Napa Racing, Quick Trip, Blaine Brothers, Builders First Source, Building Supplies. I know we use others, but there's a great source, and they obviously throw sponsorship involvement at the racetrack. So for us it's all about that. So
yeah, and it's great. Like that's one thing that you kind of just mentioned. I mean, it's obviously you have your family, but then you have your racing family, and the racing family at Cedar Lake Speedway is unbelievable. Like you said, Scott.
Yeah, a lot of good people. Yep.
Anything else we're missing, guys? You think? Anything else that you wanted to mention?
That's really good.
This is awesome. Hopefully it turns out good. Thank you for
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Nice job, Brad.
Thank you. I think I'm gonna have a cold one here.